We are standing here at the old Biscuit Mall in Woodstock, Cape Town, and behind me is the old silo building. It's just been renovated or made into new accommodation for Cape Town Creative Academy. They took 5 floors. The top floor is the Potluck Club restaurant, which is quite well known in Cape Town, and then in the basement is the chocolate factory cocoa floor. The silo was built originally by the Piatt's family, and that was in 1914, and it was used as a factory for them to make biscuits. Then it was bought in 2005 by the old Biscuit Mall Pty Limited, which currently owns it. And previously, on top of the silo, there were 2 gable walls in the Cape Revival style. It was a few decades, unfortunately, demolished. When we were asked to renovate the existing silo that was totally unused, we had to also take into account that it's a historical building, and with the new development we tried not to detract from the historical value of the building. But we were also not shy to show what we've done, and we decided to do everything that's new in a different material, like in steel and in glass. As you can see up there, the lift is in glass, the top floor is in glass and steel, and it's a new generation adding a new layer to the building.
In the beginning, in the planning of it, we had to try and understand how the silo was constructed, because there are simply no records of how it was built and how sturdy it was and what was in the concrete. Only when we started demolishing it did we realize that it was very sparsely reinforced really and everything. So we had to constantly keep an eye on our strength calculations of the overall stability. So in terms of that, it had its moments of anxiety really in the beginning. But once we got to understand that, then it became easier. So we had to really get a feeling of the thickness of the walls, old concrete walls that they used. It's a series of vertical silos really. It's probably, I think it's 6 by 3. So the 18 vertical silos separated by concrete walls with a concrete wall on the outside. So they were all 150 millimeters thick. So it was a pretty sturdy structure, and basically we had to gut that structure out.
We are currently standing inside one of the original silos, one of the few left over inside the silo building, and it's used for a fire escape staircase and also the main staircase inside the building. This is the best example of one of the silos that you can actually still see.
They had to they had a concrete slab on the top, and they had to break that down first, and then they had to cut sections of walls out and then crane it out from the top. And that is a big health and safety risk, so it is a constant headache for the contractor to make sure that it is safely done, and they worked under great stress, and in fact that demolition work was the biggest challenge of this whole project, and in itself it took a lot longer than we anticipated. We simply couldn't do it faster from a health and safety point of view. The concrete floor was a practical consideration of how they're going to build it, and a lot of consultation with the contractor. We went for a solution with precast slab elements spanning from beam to beam, and these were propped before construction, and then we cast a concrete slab on top of that, those precast units, so we got a nice solid concrete floor. What we're seeing here on the first floor level is the remnants of the original concrete walls as they were cast to form the silo division walls. And for the purpose of this art school that now occupies this facility, it has a beautiful timber grain finish from back in the old day. And it actually works very well in this context, in its raw industrial look that they've created here. It's a perfect match, it would seem. And in fact, it's still got some structural function, although it's only at this level that we did retain these walls specifically for the client request. But above this, all the other internal walls have been taken out to create more clear open spaces.
Standing here Under the canopy in front of the silo, as you can see, canopy has been constructed above what we see as the heart of the biscuit mill, or the village square of the biscuit mill. The idea of the canopy is to protect the market against rain and harsh weather conditions. Design considerations here were to create a light floating roof structure. That's why we created it out of aluminium slats that gives a pergola effect, and a translucent sheeting over that to protect from the rain. This has been one of the most exciting projects that I've worked on, and I must say it's been a great team to work with. I don't think one gets these type of projects a lot of times in your life, but it's been really an amazing project, and I think it's also given quite a bit back to Woodstock, a background for all the creative people in Woodstock.